going to talk about audiolingual methods. First, we are going to talk about the weakness, and then we are going to talk about the strength. In audiolingual methods, the instructor presents the students the correct model of the sentence, and the student will have to repeat it again and again. In this kind of situation, everything was in a memorized form. Although the idea is that students at last can use it spontaneously, however, I still think it does not fit into the real conversation, because when you are talking to a foreigner, you cannot use what you memorized, because he might not answer in the way you want. I think audiolingual method is useful if the learner is a first learner. However, when it comes to advanced level, it is not that good. What do you think, Irene?
My thought is similar to yours. I think language is not that is alike, and maybe it's effective for some beginners, but tremendous and boring drills cannot teach students to speak as well. If a student only learn English in this method, he or she cannot communicate with others in a real life. And in addition, I think this method emphasizes teachers rather than students, because teachers have to speak correct sentences for students to follow, and students are not encouraged to say it accurately. So it's a pressure and obstacles for students. And besides, the vocabulary they learn is confined, because they learn the vocabulary in the set pattern. But this is a big disadvantage for students, because there are so many words in English to learn. So what's your thoughts of that?
Okay, after Shirley and Irene's introduction of the audiolingual method, we know that this method contains many disadvantages which are not suitable for our today's world. However, I think, despite the fact that there are still some advantages which we keep using nowadays. For example, students use text, language labs, and visual aids when they learn languages. I think the advantage is that they can correct their pronunciation at once, as long as they press the repeat button of the tab, and then they listen to what they record, and they can immediately perceive the mistakes of their pronunciation, intonation, and even their speaking tempo. And besides, I think by dialogue practice, they can learn some basic and simple conversation. In the future, when they encounter foreigners, they are less likely to be afraid of talking to them. And in other words, I think that's also one way to train their confidence through this kind of method. How about you, Eric?
Oh yes, I agree with your idea, Dean. Actually, I think audiolingual method is very good, especially in two parts. First, because the goal of audiolingual method is to teach students to acquire the ability to conduct more oral conversations, so the teachers will use a lot of patterns, use a lot of conversation practice to teach students. I think this is very good, because sometimes if you, in the future, students may encounter a lot of different situations in a foreign country or with foreigners, like taking bus in a foreign country or taking airplane. This pattern and this kind of situation practice can make them get used to that kind of situation, so it will not be difficult for them in the future. And another thing I think is also very good is the vocabulary, which is a word learning. Because in the past, teachers focus on reading, and they make students to force them to learn vocabulary maybe in a vocabulary book. I think it's not so healthy. So the audio-lingual method actually they make students to learn vocabulary in the patterns in the conversations. I think it's a good way and makes people to learn vocabulary more effectively.
Oh.